Hello, DIY Dad here. I thought I'd share a story about my daughter because our kids can be quite funny little things, can't they? Sometimes they come up with stuff and you just think, Jesus, that's hilarious. And, you know, nobody ever sees that, do they? They don't. Other people don't see that. So we're sat at the table eating dinner and she's like this. Like she normally is, bouncing around and he said, God, Jasmine, can you sit still? She's like, I know she can't sit still. Her chair is destroyed. The entire top of her chair, the fabric's missing because she moves so much. And he said, what did you do at school? And she was like, ugh. God, when I was at school, you know, I got on the bus and I had to sit down on the bus. Then I got to school and then I had to sit down in lessons all day. And then we got out for lunch. And then I had to sit down to eat lunch. She said, I was just sitting down all day. And she just said it in such a matter-of-fact way. And I was like, oh. And then she said, at break time, what I used to do, I used to just run up and down really fast. I used to run up and down the playground as fast as I could the entire time because I wasn't allowed to move at any other time. So that's from my child's mouth who went to school for a term. She said basically all I did at school was sit down for the entire day. And the way that she's with her ADHD, there's absolutely no way that, you know, that was sensible for her to do that. And then this was a fantastic school, a really good, it was a rural school, a really fantastic one. No, I liked it there and she liked it there. But the environment wasn't set up for people that, you know, that wanted to move all the time. So when she came home from school, she came off the bus bouncing like she did. She got into a safe space, which was us, and then she'd crash and she'd just fall over and she'd be hyperactive and aggressive and shouting and yelling. And so school was getting this perfect child that would run around like a lunatic in playtime, and then we'd get the nasty, horrible bit at the end of the day. And that's one of the reasons we decided we were going to home educate, because we weren't seeing the best of her. So there we go. That is Jasmine, from school to home education. And she is, in terms of happiness, she's a far happier child, you know, with us at home than she was at school. It's a good example of masking. Now, I didn't realise I was ADHD and slightly autistic until a couple of years ago now, when someone else mentioned that I probably was. And then I was like, oh. Then I started looking into it and I was like, oh man. Then I was like, oh wow, this is a realisation. And it was, you know, a massive life change to realise everything that's ever happened to you is because there's something you didn't know about. Because I was masking. Now masking is basically you pretending to be normal. So you get a person, what you describe in kind of just for ease, you call them as a normal personality, and then you get a neurodivergent personality, which may be autistic or ADHD or any of the neurodivergent kind of things that are about. And as an ADHD or autistic person, you may mask, and I didn't even know I was doing it because I didn't know I had it. So for years, I would, you know, try and fit in with other people. And act the way they acted, things like that, because the way I acted was so obscure, or you know, or so different that I'd feel out of place. I always wondered why. So, and Jasmine was the same. She'll be at school and she'll be masking. She'll be being as much like everybody else as she can to fit in. And then when she comes home, she would then change into actually who she was. And that's no life for adult or a child. So there we go. So you've got my daughter, who said that school for her was sitting down all of the time and she couldn't handle it. And there's me talking about masking. And my daughter masking. So if you have a child which is, you know, problematic when they're at home, but perfect at school, that might be a reason why.